Number two, the second reason why they will not leave Africa alone, whether it's the US, whether it's the UK, whether it's France. You see, they need our resources, that's true, but they don't want to pay fairly. So they don't want to pay for the resources what would be fair market value. Let me give you an example. Shell and Exxon, right? They made billions from Nigerian oil, but they left the Niger Delta polluted and poor. Let me give you another example. Cocoa farmers in Ghana and Ivory Coast, they grow more than 70% of the world's cocoa, but they make less than 5% of the chocolate industry's profits. Let me repeat that. You see, the second reason why the West will not leave Africa alone is because they don't want to pay fair value for the resources that they're collecting. Cocoa farmers in Ghana and Ivory Coast, they are growing 70% of the world's cocoa, yet they make less than 5% of the chocolate industry's profits. Remember, chocolate comes from cocoa. So if anybody should be making the significant chunk of the profits, it should be the person that has the cocoa. It's the same thing with Shell and Exxon. And let me explain this. The West doesn't want fair trade. Because you see, if they paid Africa what our resources are really worth, then their companies would lose profits. So it's easier to install corrupt leaders, bribe officials, African puppets, and then buy these resources for cheap. So we produce the wealth, they reap the riches. You see, it is much easier in a country like Nigeria to negotiate with an African puppet like Bola Tinubu than to be negotiating with Ibrahim Traore. It's much easier to negotiate with a puppet that was installed by the West, because that puppet is doing the big.
Talk about that one, because you like Ibrahim Traore, you don't want to talk about his negativity. You only want to talk about his positivity, the positives he's doing. Yeah, if you like somebody, you have to talk everything about him, his negativity, his positivity too. Even though I hate you, I must talk the positivity you are doing. You know, so for me, I'm like that. I'm not like, okay, I have to just like you when I like you. You know, anything you do is right, or if I hate you, anything you did is wrong. No, I'm not like that. I can accept both of that. And yeah, people are saying this guy here, this general American, he's a traitor. He's a this. You know, this guy is not an African. First, he's not an African. Because he's a black, that's why you're calling me African. I don't know what madness people African normally get. Not everyone that is black is Africans. Yeah, we have black Americans, we have black Europeans, Asians. You know, not any black is Africans. If he's an American, he want to defend his country. Why are you going against him? Why can't you blame your own people, your own leaders, the one that go in there? You know, they don't want to represent their people. They don't want to protect their people. They don't want to, make their country be united. Why can't you blame those ones? And you are blaming somebody who is not an African and he want to protect his own country. He want to fight for his country, even good or bad. Yeah. So this is the thing. Ibrahim Traore, I even get a news like he was trained by these American people in Morocco. He was there for how many years? And there was a time when I think it was 2022 when they take a lot of soldiers, about 10,000 soldiers they were training in Morocco, and Ibrahim Traore was one of them. So you see, and like people will come and tell you, he never got out of Burkina. He was born there and raised there. He never got out of Burkina. That all is a lie. Yeah, he have been to other country. He have been training. Wait, he did a mistake. Yeah, even a great man can make a mistake. That's the fact. Even a great man can make a mistake. But if he likes somebody because you just like him, he cannot make a mistake. No. That is a wrong statement. It's a wrong statement, bro. So, in Burkina Faso, and the first thing, if I have to acknowledge what he's doing, we have to have freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. Whenever there's no freedom of speech, I can never agree that country is a great country. Yeah, or that leader is a great leader. Yeah, that's my take. So, yeah, I'll say
of being native. Ours was being that. So then what separates you from the oppressors in America?
Thank you for that question. All right, so is your family from here?
400 years African American.
Okay. Then you maybe try to understand that there is a plan. I don't know if you were, I don't know how old you are. I may be older than you. But there's like, when we were kids, and let's say a white person wanted to say something racist or derogatory. First of all, they don't. When we were kids and they wanted to call us the N-word or whatever, their first thing to say is go back to Africa, as if we aren't from here, as if we weren't born here, as if we haven't been here for my grandfather worked on the railroads. My family has been here for 9 generations. I am an descent. The same way that a Jamaican doesn't call themselves Afro-Jamaican, but that doesn't mean they call themselves Jamaican. But is that a denial of their Africanness? No, it's to say I am Jamaican. Even a Nigerian doesn't call himself Afro-Nigerian, or a person from Angola, an Angolan. They don't call themselves Afro-Angolan. They call themselves Angolan. A proclamation of me saying that I'm American, I understand I'm American, but I'm of African descent. I wasn't, my family, my grandparents are from America.
Now. That's also a
but that's exactly what you're doing to him.
At the time, there was no institutions in ancient Africa during the times of the transatlantic slave trade where there was petitioning for people to stop the slave trade. That's not true. However, I
get the point you're trying to make.
There were African ethnic groups who fought against the slave trade. They definitely were.
I get the point you're trying to make.
How did you come back in? They were having a discussion.
But the fact of the matter is that the trade literally decimated the population of all of West Africa, right? So there were innumerable groups.
No, it didn't. Nigeria still have over 100.
Let me ask a question, right? Let me ask a question, right? Let's bring it to the United States of America, right? When YT people talk about the United States of America and they talk about the atrocities committed by one, for instance, Donald Trump just got Donald Trump just went on the news station and said that he needs to make sure that he puts more police officers within the African American community, because if you're a YT person going into the African American community, they will rob you and beat you for a loaf of bread. When Donald Trump says that, who do you think that he's talking about? Do you think that he is talking about a particular group of people in a certain area, X, Y, and Z? Or you think he's just talking about African Americans as a whole as it pertains to the United States of America?
I think he's talking about the geographic area. I don't think he's talking about
the president.
I don't think he's talking about Tim Scott.
He is the
I don't think he's talking about Baron Donald, who is his buddy. Right? I don't think when he says something like that.
What do you think? But my question is this. My question is this. When he turns around, he pinpoints people to be of a particular type of stature. Let's use the word stature because I can't use the other word. Why do you guys think that it's different when people talk about when Europeans, the same European Americans or European British or whatever the hell they are, when they speak on Africa? My question is simple. When it comes to African Americans, Black Americans, as it pertains to the United States of America, they are quick to make a difference between themselves. But when it comes to Africa, they have absolutely no problem with grouping us all as one. There is a man from Rwanda on the live who has absolutely nothing. His history puts him nowhere near the transatlantic slave trade. But if he was having a conversation with Big Babe or whatever his name is, that person will turn around and tell him, you sold us into slavery because he's African. And you don't see the problem with that?
No, that was, I mean, and maybe I was wrong to say that. Maybe I was wrong to say it like that. Of course, I kind of know some Rwandan history. They were like, actually, I think their king actually fought to keep the because they had what's his name? Tanzania had a dude by the name of Tipi Tipu, who was a slave trader in East Africa.